All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin price crashing. There's a Bitcoin price crash coming potentially. There's some news out there that people are talking about, but I don't know if everyone understands the gravity of what's taking place. So let's just look at where we're at right now. Currently, Bitcoin, and by the way, this is bad for not just Bitcoin, it's bad for crypto in general. And you have to be able to think as objectively as possible about this content that I'm going to be sharing with you today. And I'm going to share with you the content, what's going on, the news stories, latest developments. But at the same time, I'm going to share with you kind of my thoughts, because you always have to invest in a way where your goal is to be right with your investments, even if you end up being wrong in the direction that you think the market is going. In other words, you want to try to be right even if you're wrong. Of course, you're going to be more right if what you think is going to happen happens, if that makes sense. But you're still not gonna hedge you're gonna hedge your position essentially. And it's not really a hedge, but you want to invest in such a way that even if you're wrong, you're still probably okay. I hope that makes sense. So first of all, let's take a look at this. Bitcoin currently sitting at just over 17,000. We've seen a pullback. This is probably healthy based on the current trajectory the past few days of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin prices. So I think that's probably healthy. It's probably really good. And depending on what happens with this news story, I think the price could continue to go up. Now, I recently said on a video that I thought Bitcoin could go to 100,000 by the end of 2021, as long as we didn't have the U.S. government bringing out any negative regulations for cryptocurrency. And it looks like there's definitely some negative regulations possibly on the horizon, and you need to be aware of this. You need to be aware of the implications of this. And I think short term, this could cause the price to radically drop. I mean, radically drop. But the biggest part about what we're going to talk about right now is that it really shows you, if you're new to crypto and you don't really understand the use case, why would someone want to create a blockchain currency? Then this really kind of shows you some of the fundamentals at play here with cryptocurrency. And I actually think this news event is probably bullish long term, but in the short term, it's going to cause the price to radically drop, because people don't fully understand the long-term. Not enough people understand the long-term use case of cryptocurrency. But ladies and gentlemen, let me just say this real quickly. If you believe in cryptocurrency, you believe in the future of this technology, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, because YouTube doesn't like crypto content. When you smash that like button, it pushes this content. It basically tells the algorithm, hey, other people need to see this. Other people need to see this. So smash that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get started in this. What are we talking about? Right here, industry pros weigh in on rumors of new crypto wallet regulations. This is insane. When I saw this is almost a worst case scenario. This is, in my opinion, almost as bad as trying to outright ban crypto. Now, we're going to go through this news article. It's not very long, but here's what I want you to understand. These sort of things on the surface sounds like they make sense. At the end of the day, the U.S. government's like, hey, we need to ban crypto wallets and non-custodial wallets. Basically, MetaMask, TronLink, anything you've heard the saying, maybe not your keys, not your crypto. And that's because when you have a private wallet like MetaMask or TronLink, you control the private keys. Therefore, the cryptocurrency is actually in your possession. A while back, I was talking about one of the things I don't like about PayPal, Cash App, and Robinhood and stuff is because they really don't want you to buy your cryptocurrency on their platform and transfer it to your wallet, because they want it to stay on their platform. I always say, hey, it's better to hold your cryptocurrency. Now, these regulations are saying the government wants to make it difficult, or if not impossible, for you to actually hold your cryptocurrency on your own private wallet. This is crazy. This is crazy. And this is not fun. This is real world stuff. Recent rumors about U.S. regulation of private self-hosted crypto wallets have been compelling context. For example, the proposal submitted last month by U.S. authorities to lower the anti-money threshold for cross-border transactions. Its consultation ends today, Friday, seems to support the hypothesis that outgoing Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin making more rules around crypto. The Financial Crimes Enforcement Network and the Federal Reserve rule changes proposal would reduce the threshold from $3,000 to $250 for anti-money laundering compliance for any transfers in crypto or fiat that go outside the U.S. So if you've ever noticed, I want to talk about this, if you ever noticed on some cryptocurrency services, if you try to buy crypto, they'll, you don't have to do KYC AML until you get to like around $3,000. If you've ever wondered why that threshold was there, that's because it was currently compliant with the law or this regulation. Concerns over user privacy in relation to that proposed change are nothing compared to the outright fear created by Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong's tweet about the threat to self-custodied wallets or central. We'll get to his tweet in a minute. It's very good. It's very enlightening. Shortened response time. It's worth pointing out that the notice of proposed rulemaking for the $250 threshold was given just a 30-day response period, when normally the industry would be granted 60 to 90 days. Another interesting rumor is that these stronger rule changes are coming directly from political appointees rather than long-term career people at FinCEN or on the policy side. Many of the people at FinCEN are career politicians who are going to be at FinCEN 10 years from now, and they have a slow and steady process that works really well for them, said Justin Newton, CEO of NetKey, a technical solution for crypto AML compliance. Mnuchin has until January 20th to get things done, or to get done the things he wants to get done. So this is important. January 20th, he's basically going to be outgoing with Trump, essentially. That's the timeline that we're looking at. And I think this is going to be a very interesting time. I think we need to, as investors anyway, or as participants in crypto, we need to really pay attention to what happens over between now and January 20th. This is born out of the brisk 30-day period of response to the recent travel rule change, said Newton, which could be because they're trying to get this done before Mnuchin leaves. Another travel rule solution builder, Joseph Weinberg, co-founder of the Shift Network, said that the industry and its various regulators are in an educational phase and considerations around unhosted wallets should be carefully measured. It would surprise me if anything came out really quickly, Weinberg said. A big knee-jerk reaction isn't something that should be happen because people are realizing that if we work together, we can solve these problems. There are different ways of approaching this than just throwing a 1980s version of Swift at crypto to figure out in a year. I'm not going to keep going through this, but here's the bottom line. They're definitely attempting, they're looking at potentially making it difficult to use TronLink, MetaMask, or any other Exodus wallet, Ledger wallets, those sort of things. Let's look at what Brian Armstrong said in his tweet because it's really good. Now, Brian Armstrong is the CEO of the CEO of Coinbase, and this is his Twitter. Now, I'm no fan of Brian Armstrong. Let me back up. I'm no fan of Coinbase. I really don't know Brian Armstrong. And I've talked about on my videos before how I no longer recommend people use Coinbase, and I recommend crypto.com. And the main reason for that is because I used to recommend both. But the main reason I don't recommend Coinbase any longer is because Coinbase has actively sought to work directly with the IRS and the federal government to sell them data, to sell them access to their users' information, essentially, in a nutshell. I don't like that move, and I feel like it's a move to be able to make money, and it's the move to be able to put profits over principles in crypto. And so I don't like that. So when you read this, you need to understand in this context that at the end of the day, Brian Armstrong is looking out for himself, or he's looking out for his company. He's not looking out for your rights as an individual, but what he says is applicable on both accounts. So last week we heard rumors that the U.S. Treasury and Secretary Steve Mnuchin were planning to rush out some new regulations regarding self-hosted crypto wallets before the end of his term. I'm concerned that this would have unintended side effects and wanted to share those concerns. For those who don't know, a self-hosted crypto wallets, also known as non-custodial wallets or self-custody wallets, are a type of software that lets individuals store and use their own cryptocurrency instead of needing to rely on a third-party financial institution like Coinbase. Self-hosted crypto wallets are important because they allow anyone to use this new technology to access basic financial services, just like anyone can use a computer or smartphone to access the open internet. The open nature of cryptocurrency is that it makes it a powerful tool for innovation, and it is what levels the playing field globally. It is what is fueling innovation such as DeFi. It has the potential to bring down the cost of financial services and improve accessibility. Now, right here, this is what they don't want. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't understand why the federal government don't want this last sentence, then you have to understand then you simply are missing the fundamentals of what crypto is trying to solve. It's not just lowering cost. It's taking control away from the governments and the big financial institutions because they're manipulating our currency through inflation. And so that's ultimately what they're trying to avoid. And they have to. I need you to understand that if everybody moves to crypto, it does mean that potentially we hit an enormous economic recession. And if you don't understand that, you need to watch the documentary Money as Debt. It's a simple documentary. Every middle schooler should watch it. I'll put the video above. I'll put a link in the description. But it really lays out the best use case for cryptocurrency. And it's because of our current system, it allows for inflation, and inflation hurts you or me long term. But inflation's really good for the wealthy, and it's really good for the powerful. And I'm going to explain that in an upcoming video. If you don't understand how inflation, because I recently had this explained to me in a way that was so simple, it made perfect sense. I was like, wow, no wonder our current financial system is not changing. I mean, outside of the fact that it literally mechanically can't change, but no wonder there's so much, there's so many wealthy people wanting to keep the status quo. Subscribe to the video, subscribe to this channel, hit that thumbs up, hit the bell notification icon, click all. You want to get all of my notifications. I'm going to be putting out a video here in the next couple of days, and it's going to be a pretty short video, and I'm just going to show you the analogy that was shown to me on why the wealthy are okay with inflation. It was mind-blowing. So these proposed regulations would, we think, require financial institutions like Coinbase to verify the recipient owner of the self-hosted wallet, collecting identifying information on that party before a withdrawal could be sent to that self-hosted wallet. So far, it sounds good. This sounds like a reasonable idea on the surface, but it is a bad idea in practice because it is often impractical to collect identifying information on a recipient in the crypto economy. Let me explain why. So let me explain what he's saying right here. He's saying that if a withdrawal is done, if you withdraw crypto and you decide to send it to another wallet without not sending it to your own. See, most people assume, oh, if someone's withdrawing it, they're just sending it to their own wallet. Not necessarily. You can withdraw from Coinbase and send, your buddy down the road a payment, the guy across the street, or the guy across the other side of the world. Or you could just send it to, any other wallet. So what these regulations are saying is that Coinbase and other exchanges, not only is it making it difficult to use custodial wallets, but they're saying they have to verify the identity. They have to do KYC, AML for the identity of the owner of that wallet. So in other words, what it ultimately does is it prevents them from sending crypto to a wallet that's not your own. Think about that. That's crazy. Many crypto users are sending crypto to smart contracts to use DeFi apps. A smart contract is not necessarily owned by an individual or a business who could be identified. It is a new type of service that doesn't have any direct equivalent in traditional finances. Many crypto users are sending crypto to various merchants online, paying for goods and services. Does it make sense to require customers to help verify the identity of a business before they can buy a product there? Many crypto users are also sending crypto to people in emerging markets where it is difficult or impossible to collect meaningful know your customer information. Some of these individuals are living in poverty and may not have any permanent address or form of ID. See, that's incredible. Think about that. So he lays out 3 good reasons. Now, what does this mean for you or me? It means legally, as a U.S. citizen, you would have to basically, before you could send crypto from your own custodial wallet, you would have to be able to provide KYC AML on the wallet that you're sending it to. Think about that. I mean, this is bad news if this gets passed or if this regulation goes into play. Now, some people think it's not going to go into play because Biden's coming up and they think he's going to make changes. I'm going to give my thoughts on that toward the end of the video as well. Many crypto users are using their crypto with new types of applications online. Imagine if that every time you wanted to upvote some content on Reddit or transfer an item in a game, you were hit with a form asking you to verify a recipient. That's such a great point. Finally, many recipients in the U.S. and or abroad who value their financial privacy may simply not want to upload more identifying documents to various companies, which could be hacked or stolen. Imagine having to upload your ID and everything. All basically what people essentially need, a big part of what they need to be able to steal your identity. You're uploading on KYC AML, which is why that's such a stupid idea anyway, in my personal opinion. And here's the flip side of this that he doesn't say. If a regulation does this, what they're going to also do is require that whoever you're uploading your KYC AML, by law, they're going to require them to prove that they're holding it secure. This is known in merchant account services as PCI compliant. And this occurs. So I have a small business, for example. In my business, I take credit card information, debit card information all the time personally through my own merchant account. I have to be PCI compliant every year, which shows that I basically fill out a survey and I commit on how I'm securing individuals' data and identifying information. Now think that through. Imagine just a gamer transacting in a game and sending one blockchain item to another person, an NFT, for example, and having to, before receiving an NFT, and having to make certain that they, as individuals, as private citizens, as gamers, they've got to somehow, they're held legally responsible for not doing KYC AML, but keeping that information secure. It just makes no sense at all. This additional friction would kill many of the emerging use cases of crypto. Crypto is not just money. It is digitizing every type of asset. Given these barriers, we're likely to see fewer transactions from crypto financial institutions to self-hosted wallets. This would effectively create a walled garden for crypto service in the U.S., cutting us off from innovation happening in the rest of the world. This would be bad for America because it would force U.S. consumers to use foreign unrelated crypto companies to get access to these services. And long term, I believe this would put Americans' status as a financial hub at risk. Just like the U.S. benefited enormously by embracing the open internet, it should embrace the open crypto networks and allow U.S. citizens to move their own money freely in the emerging crypto economy. If this crypto regulation comes out, it would be a terrible legacy and would have long-standing negative impacts for the U.S. In the early days of the internet, there were people who called for it to be regulated like the phone companies. Thank goodness they didn't. We sent a letter to the Treasury this week, along with a number of other crypto companies and investors articulating these concerns and others. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to be mindful of this stuff. Do I think this is going to happen? I would say that it's greater than 50% chance. And the reason is because the crypto genie is kind of out of the bottle almost. There's no way to stop cryptocurrency, but they can make it very, very, very difficult for me or you to use. So here, two things you need to be aware of. I want to talk about what you need to be aware of, why I think this is possible. Then I want to talk about what I think the incoming administration may or may not do. And then I want to tell you how I'm investing in this situation. First of all, they're talking about, one of the things he mentioned is moving digitized assets like NFTs. I've got some content coming up about NFTs, and NFTs are nothing more than in a game being able to win a prize or win some armor or whatever, being able to keep that armor and being able to send it to someone else or sell it because it's a blockchain product. Essentially, it's literally tokenized on the blockchain. And even that's such cool innovation, and I think is where we're headed next. Really and truly, I think we're going to see an explosion in NFTs in 2021 probably. However, this basically prevents that from happening, and or at least it's a big hurdle in the U.S. markets. Now, what we need to be watching out for and being careful, we need to be mindful of this. Now, when it comes to the price dump, there's no way the price doesn't dump significantly if this gets through. Significantly. Why would it get through? Even though it's crude, even though Brian Armstrong makes a logical point on why any logical thinking person with a relatively high IQ, and you would think that people in government has relatively, someone like Steve Mnuchin has to have a high IQ, but why would they get this through? Because they don't care and they need to hold on to their authority, their positioning in the financial sector. You understand, Steve Mnuchin's very job would be at risk. He's a Treasury Secretary. His very job, that position would almost not exist if the entire world was transacting in cryptocurrency. So, or at least that job would be scaled down a great deal. There's a lot of money to be made keeping us from going to a crypto market. And that's what you have to understand. In the U.S. specifically, the very status of the U.S. government is threatened. There's something known as a world reserve currency. And cryptocurrency threatens the world reserve currency. And the other thing that this does is it prevents you or me, the little guy. It doesn't necessarily prevent large institutions from buying and holding crypto. Large institutions will be able to go, they'll either get exempt from this. They will either be, they'll be able to go through whatever paperwork they need to go through to provide that they are, basically their wallets are going to be exempt. That's what it means. There's a couple different ways they could do that exemption, but their wallets are going to be exempt. This really hurts you or me, the little guy, which crypto is designed to give all of us a level playing field. And this is a move to co-opt that power, to co-opt that authority. And Brian Armstrong here is looking out for Coinbase's best interest. He doesn't give two craps as much about you or me. Honestly, he doesn't. He doesn't want his company to be hurt any more than it has to be by these regulations. He would concede my rights and your rights as long as it would somewhat help his company. He would be okay if you or me had to transact only with exchanges like Coinbase. He could care less about that. But at the end of the day, we need to be able to hold our crypto, and this is concerning. Now, here's what's interesting about this. You would be breaking the law, but there's nothing that says you can't hold, like there's no way for them to actually stop you from holding your own crypto. That's what makes this so very, very interesting. Like, if this law were to happen, you're going to see things like Monero take a boom. All these privacy coins might spike a little bit. You're going to see this definitely impedes mass adoption, but it shows you it's a big use case for why mass adoption. It just proves it's positive for mass adoption long term, because it just shows that cryptocurrency is real, and what we think that it can do. This kind of proves, this is evidence that yeah, it may do exactly what we think that it can do. Provide unfettered access to our own financial services for the private individual, even those that are unbanked. So let's talk about what's going to happen if Biden comes into office. I saw some comments on one of the news stories talking about, Biden's smart. He's going to bring good people in. He's going to know, those guys are intelligent. The Democrat Party tends to be a higher level of thinking, yada, yada, yada. That's clearly someone who's Democrat, and that's their bias. The reality is the financial machine doesn't care if it's a Democrat president or a Republican president. The financial machine always wins, and at least historically. Cryptocurrency is potentially going to disrupt that, and they're trying. And this is a war against the old way of doing business and the new way going forward. There's again, I want to say this again. There's no way for them to stop people from transacting. Now, will a lot of people transact? No, it's going to hurt the market overall. That's why price is going to dump. However, if you ever feel the need that you need to move some sort of store of value without a middleman, you will still always be able to use cryptocurrency from one party to the next. No one can stop that. And that is what it makes crypto so incredibly powerful. It is the only financial instrument in the world that allows you to send digitally any amount of funds from one part of the world to the other within minutes without needing a third party. You can't ship gold across the pond to somebody else. You just can't. The only way to do it is with cryptocurrency. That's what makes it so incredible. And I think long term, people are going to get tired of these regulations. At some point, when the powerful elite, the governments of the world abuse the financial system enough, the average citizen is going to rise up. And cryptocurrency is the only way they can rise up. And in fact, without cryptocurrency, they would have never been able to rise up and take control of their own finances. This is incredible technology, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you understand how powerful this is. And that's why I believe long term, governments historically have treated their currencies horribly and abused the common citizen with their financial policies. This has happened in every government in the world if you go back and look in history. So, with that being said, what's my investment moves going forward? Many of you know in our course, the Crypto Passive Profits course, it's all about earning passive income. There's two things that I believe strongly in. I believe dollar cost averaging, and I believe in earning passive streams of income. Why? Because right now, if you're over in the course, and you can subscribe. I'll put a link down in the description. If you're in this course, you'll hear us talking about passive income strategies. And these strategies, some of them are very, very lucrative. Some of them are going to be short term. Some of them are long term. The goal is always long term passive income. That's always the goal. Right at this moment, the reason that I like this, especially seeing this news, is because if I had a very large position in Bitcoin, I would be faced with the dilemma. Do I take profits? If I had, $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, do I take some profits right now? Just to hedge against, again, be right if you're wrong. Maybe my largest bag I hold on to, but a percentage of these Bitcoin I sell to take some profits. In my world, I don't worry about that as much. I'm earning a passive income with crypto. So for me, it's not about, someone said to me in the comment section of one of my videos, they were like, yeah, you're with just one investment, I'm up to like $26 in crypto with just one investment. Or $22, it depends on the price of Bitcoin. And he says, yeah, you're up at 20 something dollars, almost $30 with the current price of Bitcoin, but the price is going to crash. And he's right. The price is going to pull back. It already has. But I don't really care. I talk about how much I'm earning in USD. I have an entire playlist about earning $100 a day in crypto. I don't really care about the actual dollar amount. What I really care about is how much crypto I'm earning every single day. And if I'm going to be very honest with you, the viewer, I talk about the dollar amount more because viewers want to see that. Most people don't understand. My own brother was talking to me about crypto, and he says, these investments are great, but when do you cash them out? I mean, if you don't cash them out, it's not real money. And I said, you missed it. It actually is real money. If I'm holding it in Bitcoin, or if I'm holding it in Ethereum, or I'm holding it in Tron, you missed it. For me, it's not so much the dollar value, because I believe long term, even if this regulation comes to pass, maybe this regulation really hurts the price, and I think it could hurt the price a lot, by 50% or more, if that regulation goes through. It could hurt the overall market big time. However, what I also believe is that long term, the regulations aren't going to matter. Long term, at some point, people are going to start rising up and wanting to take control of their finances, no matter the risk of breaking the law. And so therefore, I believe long term, the price still goes up. The question is when. And because I believe in the fundamentals, I still dollar cost average. And at the same time, I'm really focused on my passive income. It doesn't mean I wouldn't consider, I'm not at this point, but it doesn't mean that I would never consider taking some profits in a big run up. It doesn't mean that at all. But the overwhelming majority of my focus is how much passive crypto, how many Satoshis, how much Ethereum, how much Tron am I earning every single day. The dollar amount on that crypto is great to know as well, but that's not the focus. The focus is earning passive streams of income. That's what my brother says. So what's the purpose in this passive crypto? I said, because I want to be able to essentially turn my DCA into autopilot, where I no longer even have to add fiat to be able to DCA. I essentially want to be earning passive income every single day, every single week, every single month in crypto. Maybe half of it I reinvest, diversify, half of it I hodl. That's the long-term plan. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you believe in cryptocurrency, you believe in the future, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon. You got to watch my next video coming up. You don't want to miss it. Also, at the very end of this video, I'm going to post cryptocurrency investing for beginners. If you're new to this space, you definitely want to watch that video. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Decentralized cryptocurrency equals freedom. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.